Hello and welcome to Recovery for Life. I'm Chris Howard, peer counselor at Midtown Health Wellness and Indigo Recovery in New York City, and host of this weekly podcast, actually bi-weekly these days, where we discuss addiction and recovery and anything else that comes to mind. Peer, of course, meaning equal, meaning we're on a level playing field, which means I'm in recovery myself. As of this past January, I've got 10 years clean and sober. I should note that it took me 18 years to get here. Relapse isn't required, but certainly isn't uncommon. Before we get going, it's important to mention that I am not a doctor and we are not here to dispense medical advice. We also don't advocate any particular course of treatment. Please speak with your physician regarding issues related to your specific medication or treatment plan. If you don't have a program and would like to discuss options, you can find Midtown Health and Wellness and Indigo at nyc-doctor.com. The series of podcasts is essentially our group discussions on tape. The four others joining me are all part of the Suboxone program at Midtown Health. So one of our recurring topics will be everyone's personal feelings about medication-assisted recovery. Focus will not be so much on our past, our addictions, but on how we're navigating our individual paths toward physical and emotional health. Putting down the substance is part one. What happens next is recovery. I'm going to virtually pass the mic now and give everyone a few minutes to check in, and then we're going to dive into tonight's topic. So let's see. Amy, you want to check in first?
Sure. Y'all, I'm Amy, and I've been with Midtown Health and Wellness for almost 3 years now. Great program. It's wonderful. I'm getting ready to have a surgery, and so we're trying to figure out, because I do take Suboxone, so we're trying to figure out the route to go about my pain, because they said it will. The doctor said I'll be cursing him out for the first week after surgery. So that's what we're doing right now, just trying to figure it out. And yeah, that's what I'm, dealing with right now in my life. And my kid going back to school, and she hates it because she misses me so bad. So, every morning it's like anyway, yeah, that's me, mine.
Oh, that's kind of sweet.
Yeah, it is sweet because I miss her too.
Let's see, Frankie, how you been, man? We haven't seen you in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks. Happy to be back there, fam. I'm Frankie. I've been with Midtown Health and Wellness, man, for almost 5 years now. I am busy, but I have some news that I'm happy to share with everyone. I am going to be a dad.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes, sir. I got it.
Is this your first?
Yes, this is my first. So happy. My wife is healthy, and right now, everything is healthy and positive in our world. We are going to have a boy. This is very exciting.
Oh,
Crazy town. Holy cow. And I thinking about it so much because it's so nuts, but I couldn't have done this in my 20s, and I couldn't have done this in my early 30s. I just wasn't ready for it. So, being, not using, for so long and getting, my life on track and together and in such a positive direction with my job and my relationship, all that stuff, it just all came together. And this is kind of like the culmination of it. So I am happy and healthy and ready to bring some sexy little life into this world. A little handsome, little lima bean.
yeah.
I got so much more, but I think I'm just going to keep it just incredibly positive today. That's how I'm checking in. Papa Frankie.
Mini me is on the way.
You're going to be a great dad, by the way.
He is going to be great.
I feel it.
Absolutely. Audrey, you are up.
Yeah, that's so exciting, Frankie. Congrats. Oh my God. Oh, yeah, let's see. I'm just distracted because that's great news. Usually I think of what I'm going to say, and now I forgot. So I'll go
through it off.
Yeah. Totally fine. Let's see. I have the week off this week, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm planning on doing some crafting. I have some fabrics from work that I want to do some stuff with. and just hanging out with my family. We're like gonna do a little outing on Wednesday with my sister, who's the bride. She's like getting her nails done, and I'm doing her makeup for her wedding.
Oh,
She's having her wedding this weekend. That's why I'm like taking the week off. But yeah, it'll be fun, and I'm just happy to have the week off. So that's what's going on.
Very cool. John, you are up. Your turn.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations, Frankie. That is awesome news. I'm so happy for you. Absolutely amazing. I can't wait for you to have your kid, and I can't wait to have a kid of my own. My brother just had twins. Yeah. So a lot of life being brought into this world, and it's very special. It's a really special thing. Anyway, I've had pretty good week. It's now 3.5 weeks into being, into my last Suboxone shot. I get this, the irony. So, I literally had to stay on top of getting my Suboxone shot for the past 2 years. And then, I get a text message saying that, hey, we're processing your Suboxone order. I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, what order? So I reach out to Midtown Health and Wellness, and they're like, oh yeah, that must have been a mistake. That pharmacy just like put it on automatic reorder. Like I've had fought with this pharmacy to like get it refilled on a monthly basis. Now all of a sudden it just goes through magically. Now they don't need it. So I'm like, what the heck? But anyway,
go figure.
Yeah, right. It's absolute lunacy, but whatever. Anyway, other than that, I'm doing really well. I've been journaling or writing my thoughts and feelings down on a daily basis, and that's it's been an interesting experience just to see how my thoughts and feelings change over the day-to-day basis, and it's interesting to look back on. I'm finding. But anyway, other than that, I'm doing really well. Let's keep positive for sure. Yeah, let's do it.
I like positive. I'm doing pretty well too. And you know what's great about, I was listening to you guys checking in, and the beauty of being sober is that we get to be present for everything in our lives, like our sister's wedding, or the birth of our baby, or our brother having twins, or our daughter going back to school. I mean, that's pretty incredible when you think about it. We're all here, and we're all present for all of these events that are happening in our lives, and we're present for our own lives too. I mean, I think that's a big effing deal, if you ask me. I mean, I really do, because these are things certainly that I avoided.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have anything to do with anybody. So being able to be present in my life,
or remember
my family, and remember when the things happen. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that day, that birth. That was amazing.
Yeah, I was drunk.
Yeah. So I think that everybody, kind of had the same theme going with that, which is pretty incredible. It's all happening, and that's all because we're all sober. It's the only reason that all of these things, that we're at least present for all of these things, and some actually are happening because we're sober, and may not have happened otherwise.
Amen.
So pretty cool stuff. So we were talking before we went on the air or pushed the record button. We were talking about some other stuff, one of which was the term California sober, which is a great one. And we'll probably start with that and move on to, we were talking about psychedelic therapy and our thoughts and feelings on what that's all about. And I actually heard a lecture on it a few weeks ago. I heard someone lecturing who was a real proponent of all of that. So I'm going to leave the name out of the picture because I don't know if I can even do that. If I can even talk about that. I probably could, but I'm not going to. Anyway, irrelevant. So I think we're going to start with total abstinence, which has been coming up a lot lately in group conversations and private conversations, because our program is about opioid addiction primarily. And so that's the focus. That's what the Suboxone's for. And some people choose to still smoke a joint once in a while, or have a beer once in a while, or whatever it is they choose to do. And if it's not a huge problem, then why shouldn't they be able to do that? And that's kind of what the discussion has been. So I'm going to kick it out to you guys and let you talk about your feelings about all of that, because I know what mine are. But why don't you guys dive in, whoever wants to.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I might get, I might get looks and eye rolls for this one, but I've never heard of anybody emptying their bank account and losing friends for smoking weed. I mean, personally, I think it helps for some people's anxiety. It helps for some people's sleep. It helps for some people's stomach. And I just, when it comes to heroin, cocaine, crystal meth, marijuana, I don't know. I feel that I just don't put that in the same category. And again, I know people might not agree with me, but if you can successfully, and I call it a suspended license, if you can successfully navigate your life with that as a crutch, more power to you. Some people can, some people can't. But again, I will say, I've never heard of anybody losing friends, family, going down a downer spiral, locking themselves in their house for 3 days and smoking weed until their bank account is empty. I don't know.
I'm going to have to agree with that. I think that if you're doing life and, I'm going to go with weed because I don't drink personally, but if you got your life going and it's rocking and rolling and everything's going along and, you smoke some weed, I don't think it's, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to set you back or lead you down, especially if you're like in the recovery like we are. But now for some people that are young and smoking weed and just laying on their ass and not doing nothing for society and just mooching off their parents, I disagree with that. But if you're older and you've been through it like we have, and you know about it, about recovery, all this stuff, and you know what you can tolerate, what you can handle, I think it's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's not a problem in my life.
Yeah, Amy, I was thinking like a very similar thing to what you were saying about like knowing what you can tolerate, at least so far along in recovery. Like I'm probably like 4+ years in recovery. And like, I know that smoking weed or eating an edible every once in a while isn't gonna like ruin my life. And I think it's like also about your mindset when using these drugs, like if you're thinking about it all the time, if you're again, like spending so much money on it, letting it run your life, like getting sick from it. I think if there's so many negative aspects that it brings to your life, then yeah, it can be considered like a really bad addiction. But if like for me personally, like I'll eat an edible every once in a while, I'll smoke weed socially. And drinking actually makes me sick most of the time, but yeah, I'll have like something that doesn't make me sick, it's funny. It's like the most basic things, like a White Claw will not make me sick, but I'm not going to like down a bunch of White Claws every day. Like I'll have one socially or like a cider. Also with the Suboxone, I think drinking just makes me feel weird in general. So, I don't drink more than like one in a few hours, like one can of White Claw or whatever.
I think sobriety is a state of mind.
Yeah.
And I think being sober is a state of mind. It's more than it's bigger than I don't use drugs. And if we were, for me, once was a crippling heroin addict. That if, I have a prescription for marijuana, and I don't talk about this, and Chris will tell you, I've never spoken to him about this. And my stomach kills me. My anxiety is crippling, and it's very helpful for me. And I keep it to myself because I don't want to be judged in this sober community.
Amen.
So I keep it to myself. But sobriety is more than it's a state of mind, man.
I've never heard that.
I consider myself sober because
Yeah.
of what I've been through and what I've done and what I've conquered and what I don't do anymore. I don't consider marijuana a drug. So I think sobriety is a state of mind. I consider myself sober, whether it be California sober or I consider myself. And this is the first time that I'm saying this publicly. So there.
Yeah, I fully agree with everything that's been said so far. Like you, Frankie, I don't have a prescription for it, but I can't eat. I have so ever since getting on Suboxone, I've had problems gaining an appetite, and to the point where I'll get till like 10, 11 p.m. at night. And I haven't eaten.
Mhm.
And I'm like, this is a problem, right?
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
and the only thing that I've found that has helped is taking a couple of puffs of weed. Right after that, my stomach starts growling. I can eat a meal and I don't have to starve myself, and
Worry about your weight.
yeah, about my weight.
All that.
But like more importantly, I mean, I do take my sobriety seriously, and like I do know myself, right? Like I have to be able to make a judgment call on like, all right, if I touch this substance, I know that's going to lead me to this.
Yep.
With weed, it's never to this day. I've had no issues with it. Honestly, now if I were to go have a drink, for example, forget it. I would go right back and relapse. So like, I think it's for me, like knowing myself and knowing my boundaries and what I can't do. And I mean, I don't put it out there.
People like you need it.
Yeah.
It's helpful in a lot of ways to a lot of people.
But as I come off of Suboxone, the hope is that I get my, I mean,
Right.
I don't know what damage I've done to my body, honestly, like throughout the year, like 15 plus years of using, right? Like, I don't know what I've done, but like, hopefully my body heals and repairs itself and I can naturally gain an appetite and I don't have to smoke weed. I mean, I do want to have a family and all this too. And I don't know. If I don't need to smoke the weed, I'm not going to smoke the weed, but like, as of right now, I have to. Like, I mean, I've been challenged on this. Like, well, you're not fully sober, or like I hear people who say that, and then they completely smoke all day, and I'm like, I don't need to sit here and defend myself. Like, I am open and honest about everything I put out there, and if I don't, I mean, I'm not. Am I truly sober? Really? Right? Like, anyway, but. That's my 2 cents on the matter, and how it relates to me in my life. And it is a bit touchy topic because like, I don't know, like Frankie said, like people will judge me for it, right? Like, oh, you're not sober. Like,
yeah. And Suboxone too.
Right.
Well, you just changed one drug for another and all right, whatever, dude. Run along.
Yeah,
I mean, sorry, Audrey, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I also have narcolepsy, so I'm on a stimulant, which a lot of people abuse, but I still consider myself sober because I don't abuse it. I just take it as prescribed every day, and I will be asleep all day for multiple days if I didn't take it. So there's that. And I still consider myself sober. And like one of my friends was like, "Well, are you really sober if you're taking Suboxone and this stimulant?" I was like, "Yeah,
but we're not not chasing it. We're not chopping it up in lines. We're not, all day long. That's what our focus is on. Yeah, we're sober,
and it's not going to kill us.
Our lives. Yeah,
like,
right. Amen.
Like I've overdosed. Like I've been on near the death's doorstep.
Yeah.
Okay. Like there's a difference between shooting heroin, smoking weed. I'm sorry,
or Suboxone,
or taking
or
Suboxone.
Yeah.
There is. yes, there is a huge difference. You are exactly right.
Yep.
You're
I
exactly
love
right.
this. I love this conversation.
You want to step in on
It's
it?
really good. I'm going to step in on it. Yeah, because I totally agree that sobriety is a state of mind. I mean, that's why our intro says that recovery is what comes next, and that recovery is different for everybody. It looks different for everybody, and you're entitled to recover in whatever way you choose. That's not anybody else's call to make, and it's not for anyone else to judge. On the other side of the coin, and there's always another side of the coin. Personally, for me, I can't touch a single thing. There's no substance in the world. There's no mood altering substance in the world that I can put into my body without going down a dark road. And I know that because I've done it. I've tried that and it doesn't work, and that's fine. That's just me. There's also, there's a lot of A's out there, the anonymous programs like AA and NA. There's also an MA for people who have issues with marijuana, because there are actually people out there who cannot control themselves and who do smoke all day long or do edibles all day long, and they do have a problem with it.
Yep.
It is possible to fall into that, and that's why that program exists.
Sure is.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's not a possibility. I'm happy that there are support groups out there for it. I mean, I remember being 16 to 18 years old. I mean, that's all I did was smoke weed, right? But
I get it. All I did in my teenage year was fucking smoke weed too. But there's no comparison to what we went through
And what smoking weed
and marijuana addiction. If you, I'm sorry, there was no. And again, I don't mean to put it down. I am happy that there are support groups. I agree with you, John. But I don't think anyone can compare one to the other, because I don't even think it's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
I think it's water polo and log flume. I think it's two totally different planets. So.
And y'all say you smoked it during teenage years. I didn't smoke it because I tried it, but it knocked my ass out. Every time I couldn't party with everybody. I had to be knocked out, So I didn't find it again until my husband died when I was 36, 37. That's when I had to smoke every night, not all day long. I didn't do that, but like at night, because I could not sleep. And like John, I could not eat. I couldn't eat for 3 years after he died, for real. I mean, I dropped 120 pounds. Wow. And so I found it later in life, but it really helped me, through that. Now I've slacked off. I've way slacked off. But when I first found it, it helped me during a dark time.
I have a friend of mine. Her name is Carrie, and she's been sober for a very, very long time. She used to be a party pal of mine for a number of years. And she would say, if I would have a drink at the bottom of the coaster that my drink is on is my Coke dealer's number, and that's the next call I make. If I'm going to roll a joint, as soon as I lick the label, I can see my drug dealer's phone number on it, and I'm making the call. Some people cannot do like Chris. Like some people can just they know their path and they know what happens, and that's an amazing grasp on the world and your sobriety. And some people, I think, have had a whatever it is, a spiritual or mental movement where they can handle making this choice without going down this dark road. So I think it's different for everyone.
I agree with you. It is different for everyone. And I think what Audrey was saying, the whole point is that if something is not a problem for you, it's not a problem, right? I mean, that's all there is to it. It's as simple as that. And whatever that is, it is. And I don't care what that turns out to be. But it's like you said, if it's not something you're chasing, if it doesn't become an obsession, if it doesn't become the only thing you think about, and, when am I going to get that? Then, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, that's like normal behavior. That's what
the only thing I
people
think
who
about
aren't addicts do.
Thrones, but like, you know what I mean? Like the only thing I think about is Game of Thrones. It's what I think about all day, all night. But like,
I've never watched that.
Oh, Amy,
I need to watch it.
Babe.
Okay.
Come on, boo.
I need to give us the time. Give it the time.
I haven't looked, but I'll bet you there's a GOT anonymous out there somewhere.
Well, I think that you bring up an important point, Chris, that really, I mean, you can get addicted to really anything. Right. I mean, it's like, come on.
You absolutely can.
I mean, like cigarettes, for example. When I smoke a joint, I want a cigarette.
Yeah, but
I know this, you know?
what I mean is like mentally, right? Like, to the, like when I look at marijuana addiction versus heroin addiction, I know marijuana addiction, I'm not going to have any like,
Bad at like
withdrawal.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's no what do you call that? Like dependency, right? Like where maybe I can't sleep for a night or can't eat or whatever, but it goes away like
right.
pretty quickly. I mean, well, at least when I was younger, but, I mean, for dope or opiates, that's a chemical, dependency, right? Along with the mental part of it. So there's like a two-layered, maybe multi-layered, aspect to the whole addiction. And that's what I think that makes them apples and oranges, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think people can definitely have a problem with weed. Like I've known people who have problems with weed and have been like kind of mentally and a little bit physically like had effects from not smoking it. But again, I don't think it's as bad, and you can't really compare it to, like opiates and hard drugs. I don't think it's considered a hard drug at all. But again, yeah, it's different for everyone. And you get to a point where you know your limits and you know what you can handle. And you shouldn't really experiment with anything else until you know what you can handle.
That's a good point. I mean, they say it's like gateway drug, but I mean, really, isn't alcohol or I mean, anything can be a gateway drug, really, right?
A cigarette could be.
Cigarette.
I mean, honestly,
I knew somebody who did an awful lot of edibles and pot and stuff, and to the point where I actually Googled to see if you could actually overdose on THC, and well, you can't. So.
Yeah, my
At least that's what I found.
That's all they did all night long.
You're just gonna fall asleep or something. I don't know.
Pretty much. I don't know, but they did it to the point where I thought I better check this out because I was close to calling 911. To say, "Whoa, this is not good."
You can get so high that you think you're gonna die, but
right,
like that's oh my god! I remember one time in high school. One time in high school, I took my friends convinced me to take a whole grav bong, which is like a liter of soda full of smoke. And I was in the bathroom, like puking and like actually puking. And I was like thought my heart was beating so fast that I was going to die. So then I learned my limits with it. So I only take like one hit from a joint now and I'm fine. That's it.
See, I cannot eat edibles at all. So I can smoke and it will do what it needs to do for me, and it won't even change anything. Like you will not know. I'm not like, yeah, man.
Right.
Like that's just not the way it affects me. But if I were to eat edible, it affects me very, very differently. I had many moons ago. I ate a cookie, and I was like, "Oh, this is delicious! It tastes like chocolate, yay!" And I didn't know what was going to happen because I never eat edibles. I just smoked. And I told somebody that I was working with, I was like, call my mom and tell her that I love her because today's the day that I'm going to die. And I was like, it's over. I'm going down. I went downstairs into a liquor room. I built a fort out of chef coats, and I hid for 4 hours in boxes under boxes of liquor in my liquor room at the restaurant. I was terrified. I thought I was going to die. That was from a cookie. I can't.
I've never had an edible.
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but that is hysterical.
The picture of that.
True story.
Yeah.
Yeah. you think you're gonna die sometimes, but again, it's about like knowing your limits, right?
Yeah.
What you can handle.
Yeah, I mean, bringing it back to sobriety, right? Like, you're right. You need to know yourself. You need to know your limits, and I mean, that's really it, right? Like, I mean,
Yep.
as simple as that. If you
Point
know-
blank period.
if X, Y, and Z are 1 + 1 = 2, you're gonna, you know what the track's gonna lead to. You play the tape out, right?
Right.
That's the point, right?
So what do y'all
Yeah.
think about psychedelics and all this new stuff like coming up? This therapies and
Nice segue.
Yeah, I've never tried it for like, microdosing for treatment, but I did try acid once. That was not fun. I didn't enjoy it, and I didn't do it again. But shrooms I did once. I had a great time. Didn't do them again, just because I'm not like actively seeking them out, and that's not like something that I feel I would be addicted to or am addicted to. It was a fun time. Like I would equate it to like going to a water park for fun. Like you're not gonna, at least for me, I don't see myself getting addicted to having a fun time on shrooms. It's just like doesn't even seem. You need like a long time too to trip, so it doesn't really seem feasible.
Yeah, I don't have a free 8 hours in my life to go down into a culture.
waste
Um,
time like that.
I don't know, man. I did a ton of hallucinogenics when I was younger, in my teens and early 20s. I mean, I've tripped hundreds of times, and taking just a mess of mushrooms. And my mind was clearer when I was younger. I don't think that my brain is strong enough to handle a psychedelic movement. I just don't think. And like, I have a lot of friends who I go to see a band called Fish, and that is a welcome drug in that community, whether it be mushrooms or acid or whatever the case may be. And everyone has a great time, it seems, but my brain is not strong enough. Now that's on the, that's the recreational side of that. Now, the medical side, I just don't see how, personally, for me, it could be effective in any way. I think that my brain is too weak, and I think that I know my path. I found my path.
Right.
I found my journey through, other things that I've done and made mistakes through. I don't think I need.
So you know what
to help
worked.
me find it, but that's me. Yeah,
Right.
but that's me. Maybe there is, a medical way to, bring couples closer, or, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I can speak to the medical aspect to it. So before I found Sublocade, I actually went down to Mexico to do Ibogaine treatment. And Ibogaine,
like ayahuasca.
it's different from ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is two things combined. Ibogaine, it comes from the Iboga tree, the root of the tree, and they they make it into a HCl, or a substance that you could put into a capsule and give to somebody. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I went to, and it's illegal. It's considered a psychedelic here in America. So I went to Mexico to get the treatment, and it's supposed to help subdue
Cravings or
no, it's supposed to detox you and reset your receptors in the brain, and where you don't really have that much withdrawal. And my first experience with it, I did hallucinate. I threw up a lot, but I didn't have that much withdrawal. And it was, it wasn't like hitting the easy button or anything. It did still suck, but I ended up, I did it. I came back. I relapsed. I went back down, and the person running the clinic he was like, "Why don't you stay?" He did another treatment on me, and I stayed, and he started microdosing me. And I did that for about 6 to 8 months, where I would take Ibogaine, microdose Ibogaine. And
so you stayed in Mexico?
I did. I lived in
Oh,
Mexico.
wow.
I lived in Mexico for over a year almost. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Holy shit.
I did. Yeah.
That's wicked.
Yeah.
So did this work for you? Like when you went to Mexico, were you kicking heroin at the time?
I was trying to. Yeah. 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 So so when I was in Mexico, I was sober for that time period. Right.
Oh, wow.
But when I went back down the second time and stayed, like I did remain sober, and I don't know. I felt like, when I eventually had to come back, when you're only good. I had to like come back every 6 months or whatever to reset the visa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on my last trip back, I mean, I think what I got out of it was that it helped me with my PTSD, like through the hallucinations or whatever I was experiencing. I remember one time they put me under for like a third or fourth treatment where like they actually like, they put like, it's like sensory deprivation. So they put like this headphones with music on, and like you get blindfolded, and they, put a certain amount of milligrams of Ibogaine down you, and you're literally in this room for 8 to 12 hours. And then you get brought back up to your, there's nurses and there's
Oh, wow.
there. It's a,
Are you sure you weren't kidnapped by a cartel?
it's funny you say that. I mean, there is cartels down there for sure, but
Holy shit!
no, I was not.
Wow.
It was ran by an American man.
Wow.
Who was from New York, and was very affluent and wanted to go down there, and because he had an opioid problem himself, and he found out about it. Anyway, I mean,
So it might help some people.
it might help
guess.
people, but like for me, like you need to have like, if you do that, right? Like if you do want to go down that route, you need to come back and have a solid support system,
Right.
a sober network in place. Cause like that is not the end all be all, right? Like
Right.
I can like compare it to like a detox, right? Like
Right.
really what it is.
So
Yeah.
you just came back and didn't have nothing. It was just, okay, I'm back. And
Yeah. And since I had gone down there, and after I came back the second time, I ended up relapsing a couple months later, and that's what led to my 2 overdoses. My tolerance had went down significantly.
Right.
It was just bad, and I ended up back in rehab, and then that's when they offered me Suboxone, and I was like, forget
Praise
it.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you made a good point, John, that no matter what any of us do to get sober, you need to have a program in place so that you're not doing it alone, and you're not, nothing is a magic bullet. I don't care what it is. And, they can talk about psychedelics and all these other things that potentially could work for some people. But as always, you still need to have that program in place when you get through that part of it. And don't forget that any of these treatments they're talking about now, the psychedelics and whatever it is, they need to be administered by a physician or a psychiatrist who's licensed. This is not things that a therapist can use or anybody. I mean, it has to be in a medical setting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to remember that part too. This is not, nobody's just playing with this stuff.
Yes. Sorry. I'm sorry if I didn't say that. This was like a medical facility down in Mexico with doctors on site, nurses,
Sure.
like,
Right.
they hook you up to machines and monitor you while you're going through it and all this. It was 100% like, legit, like in a sense that, there was doctors there to help you if something happened. But to your point, Chris, you can't just go willy-nilly taking Ibogaine or whatever and expecting to get clean. I don't think that's a thing.
Yeah. It sounds like just like we would do a detox in the States where they would give us Ativan or whatever they would do, and we'd be hooked up to machines, and it just sounds like the same thing. You know what I mean? And, if that could help, maybe it sounds like it did for a while help for you, John. So that's interesting. That's really interesting.
I think also it's important to know, to anyone listening who might be dealing with addiction issues, that yes, the four of us here that do like smoke weed or drink a little bit. Well, I don't think anyone else but me drinks a little bit, but like the weed smoking and just things that are considered drugs, but things that we're not addicted to. It's important to know that we had to get sober first before we could just start doing these things. Like you have to get sober first and have a sober network and get everything else under control. Like if you just start messing with a bunch of different substances and you're not
even marijuana,
then it's just going to contribute to a bad path.
That's true. We did talk about that. Yeah,
it took me years to find my path before I was able to open my mind to, I can smoke to make myself feel better, because I'm anxious or I'm nauseous or I need to sleep or whatever. It took me years to figure out my path to make sure that I was okay.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And it took like Chris said, it takes a village. I didn't know, I didn't have support system like groups, and I just didn't have. And now that I do, it is it's just amazing the difference it makes.
For me, it's life saving. It's like a breath of fresh air. Like being able to come to group and openly talk honestly and freely about anything and not worrying about being judged for it is absolutely critical to my sobriety. Like, seriously, like, and like Frankie said, I mean, I it wasn't easy for me to get clean, right? Like I've been on this journey for, over 16 years, and I've had gone through a lot of experiences, and I do know myself at this point, and I know what will harm me and what won't. And being able to talk about it with medical professionals, like the people at Midtown Health and Wellness who are there for me and can help me through very challenging times where, I may be, on the edge about something, and, just talking me off that ledge, that having that sober network, I can't stress enough, like Audrey said, is crucial. At least for me. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I know for me, without it, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing today.
Yeah, it's just made a huge difference in my recovery. Huge. And
you definitely have to. What were you going to say? Sorry.
I just wish I would, I knew growing up in AA, So, I mean, like, I should have known, but anyway, go ahead, Audrey.
No, it's okay. I'm glad you said that. Yeah, because like I would go to meetings a little bit, like when I first started on Suboxone, but I have had nothing like this program where you have therapy, you have a counselor, you have groups, and I've actually like connected with everyone in these groups. I have all your numbers. Like before, I would go to a few AA meetings and like pretend to be interested in it. I don't know, like fake interested, and like just went because I felt like I had to, not because I wanted to. And now I genuinely want to. But yeah, it's important to like definitely know yourself and know your limits. And that doesn't mean like limits as in like, oh, I'm going to take 1 Percocet instead of 3 today. It means like knowing what you can and can't take that you will be addicted to, and be at like a constant stable state before you start, seeing if something like weed is going to help you.
It's interesting. It comes to mind when you guys were talking. There's this word, the word program is this thing that tends to scare people off. Like AA is a program, right? I think that what we define as program is a place to be honest with each other. There's a place where we can find community, a community of people who understand us, who we can talk to openly and honestly. And that's what keeps us sober. And whatever our definition of sober is. And like this conversation tonight, there's no judgment here. Is anybody judging anyone? No. You can come in here, you can say anything you want, and you can say, this is my program. This is what I do to keep myself sober. And that is a program. And it's a scary word. People come and say, well, you got to have a program. I'm like, what the hell? What does that mean? What does that mean, programs? I have to do things. Somebody's going to dictate what I'm supposed to do every day. And it's just not like that.
No, it's not like that. For me, I made a conscious choice to subject myself to help right? And taking that help and then actually using it and applying it is a whole different story, right? Like you can ask for help, but you know, what you do with it from there is up to you. You have to make a conscious choice whether you're going to use it. And I choose to use it because I want to live. I want to live.
Right.
As simple as that. I want to live a happy life and create good memories. And I can't do it on my own. And having a community like this to be able to just come to and share,
Right.
like that to me is my. I mean, it's part of my program. What I would consider my program, right? Like,
Right.
I know that term can. For me, like Audrey, I had a similar experience. I was just there to. I don't know what I was doing that age.
That was me too.
I was just floating. But this is something completely different, right? Like
I was like doggy paddling.
Yeah.
I was like, and it's a shoulder to cry on. It's you meet different people and they understand you. And it's just, I can't say enough how amazing Midtown Health really brought me into my program, because prior to that, it was just like writing out the script. And if you want to talk to this dude over here, you can. And if you don't, you don't have to, like it was just, yeah. So it wasn't, I thought this is just like a whole nother, like now I have to have it. It's just like, I don't know. Everyone out there needs a program, needs community, needs these loving and understanding people to uplift you. Because, it
just becomes part of your life, kind of.
Yeah. And it's a great part.
That's exactly what happens. And you said the magic words, Amy. My program is not your program. Your program is your program. However you choose, whatever you choose to do and whatever works for you is your program. And it's not going to be the same as mine. And John brought up another good point, the asking for help. And for me, it's always been a 2-part process. I ask for help, but part 2 is accepting that help and accepting it gracefully. And that's what drives a lot of people away. It's easy enough to come into a program and say, hey, I need help. And then people offer you, oh, wait a minute. No, I don't really need that. I can do this on my own. I don't really need what you're offering me. Forget it. I'm out of here. And that happened to me. I did that my first time around. I came in, I said, I need help. And everybody offered it. And I went, no, thanks. I'm out of here.
Yep. I did it my first 5 times around. Yeah. My first 5 times around, I was like, yeah, I need some help.
Yeah, that's
when I got there and I was like,
nah,
yeah, I'm good. No, I'm good.
It's that commitment, right? You have to be committed to staying sober.
Yeah. Right? And then sometimes it takes like going to different ones. That might not be right for you. That doctor, that, that therapist, that counselor, that whatever. You've got to find yours. Like Chris said, your own, whatever works for you.
And you'll know it when it happens.
Yes. Absolutely.
Know it when it happens. It's like falling in love. You'll know it when it happens. You're like, oh, I found it. I'm ready.
Yep.
And I'm ready to change my life.
Yeah, sure. Because if it's yours, you want to be in there. If someone dictates to you what you should be doing, you're going to go, what are you telling me what to do? What is that about?
Like what?
Yeah, I can decide for myself. And, the important thing is that, people like me, this is what I do for a living, are here to support anyone in whatever they choose is their program, rather than telling them what they should be doing. And I think that's what works as far as I'm concerned.
Like you, Chris, like even if someone that doesn't click with you or doesn't feel like, okay, then let's find you someone else. You're not offended. You're not.
Of course not.
No,
it makes perfect sense. We all need to find our own way, and the people that work for us, the people that we want in our lives, our chosen family, the people we want around us, and those are the ones that are going to keep us, on the path that we want to be on.
Yeah, and they can keep you accountable too.
Absolutely, accountability is a big deal. I mean, we want to show up for those people. And we want them to show up for us. I mean, it's a 2-way street, right? We're keeping them accountable. They're keeping us accountable, and we're showing up for each other and for ourselves. And that's what really matters. And if you're not in that tribe with those people, you're not going to show up.
Mm-mm.
Right? It's just not going to happen.
Nope.
Yeah. I think it's just, I'm super grateful to be able to have a welcoming, accepting, non-judgmental community where I just feel welcomed. And I don't know, it's when you experience it, it's it's something special. Like for me, at least, like it's just a special feeling. I feel like I'm part of something greater than myself. And I don't know, that could be maybe somebody's higher power or what, but
Right. And like Frankie said, it really just kind of goes with what Frankie said. It's like falling in love. You know, boom, boom. It's like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. You know?
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes 5 or 10 different doctors or different therapists or different to find your, you know, your thing, what feels good to you.
I think as long as I want to live, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to stay sober. Because that at the end of the day, if I'm not sober, there's no way I'm going to be able to live life. Simple as that. So
Work.
Yep. It takes a lot of work.
Yep.
It really does.
It does. And like you guys said, it takes a commitment. It takes some dedication. It takes desires. And whatever other words you want to throw in there. But, you know, I mean, I think the point of the whole conversation is that we need each other to do this. Addiction is a very, very lonely place.
Oh, my goodness.
And I don't think you would find anyone who didn't say that they wound up at home with the curtains closed, you know, maybe the TV going, maybe not, and all alone. And that's it. And that's how we all get to that place. We all get to that place.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, you know, that is a very, very lonely place to be.
It's scary too.
It is scary. It is scary. It feels like there's no way out when we get there.
Yeah. So you just want to go use again.
No one's coming out. No one's coming to help us.
Nope. No one's going to be some princess, queen coming in just rescue you.
Not going to happen. And so it's a big deal to make this choice to live a life in sobriety. It really is.
It is.
It's huge. And I think that, you know, the most courageous thing anyone could do is make that request for the first time and ask for help. And I used to say, you know, when I went to a lot of meetings, which I still go to a few, but, you know, the most courageous thing anybody could do was walk down those stairs into that church basement for the very first time and raise their hand and say, you know, I'm an alcoholic or I'm an addict or whatever it is you want to say. I mean, I think that's an incredibly courageous act. It really is. And that's, you know, and we've all done that. I mean, that's why we're all here. In our own way, we've done that in whatever way that was, whether it's going to a clinic or a doctor or somewhere. But, you know, walking in that door and saying, okay, I'm done. I surrender. I'm waving the white flag. Please help me. And I'm willing to accept that help.
Yeah, I agree with that, Chris. For me, I think I was scared to face myself. Really, like in the beginning, like when I was trying all these things, like these half-hearted attempts, and I don't know, just something changed in me where I was like, I need to do this, like to stay alive. You know, I'm so grateful that I think back on the times where I had those overdoses and somebody actually found me. What if somebody didn't find me? You know, I would have been another statistic, and I don't want to be a statistic. I want to be a contributing member of society, a happy person, and with loved ones around me, just making great memories and, you know, helping others if I can. I mean, that's all it comes down to for me. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, well, there's that other part, the part too of, you know, passing it along to the next generation. You know, the other people who could use that helping hand, who reach out, and we need to be there for them. We really do.
Absolutely. And that's what, you know, my spirituality, that's what God wants us to do. I think he put us on this earth to love each other and to try to help each other. And people forget that along the way, I think.
I would say so. People do forget that I think you're right. I mean, we're here to help each other, along if we can possibly do it in any way we can. Anyway, wow, that was a pretty cool hour. I think that I was also about to lead into something else when I'm up, I know, because we could save it for another day. And what John was talking about, we already did an episode called Facing Our Fears in Sobriety, but I have a feeling that we could go into a little bit more depth in that regard at some point. And maybe the next time we meet, we could do that. And there may be a guest speaker the next time too. I'm not sure. He was going to come tonight, but he got tied up on other stuff. So we may have somebody new joining us too, which would be cool. Maybe a couple different people. I'm working on it. It's good to have some other insights. People are coming from different places. So maybe next time, I think we might have a guest. We will see. But in the meantime, I think we could. I think there's a lot of gratitude to throw around tonight. Who wants to go first? Who wants to volunteer to go first? Audrey, you go. You're up.
Raise hand feature. Yeah, I am so grateful for this meeting and so glad to see you, Frankie, and everyone, Chris, Amy, and John. It's just, I don't know. I always feel so much better after these meetings. It's nice to connect with people that are so like-minded, and even if we're all so different, but been through a lot, all of us, and I think we have some really good insights about the world. So yeah, I'm grateful for all of our insights that we have. I think it's going to be helpful to a lot of people.
I think so too. Let's see. Boy, girl. How about John next?
Yeah, sure. Let's go. Gratitude. I love gratitude. Gratitude is my attitude. I'm grateful to be here on this podcast. It's always something special for me to partake in this. I always learn something new, and I love being part of this community. I'm grateful to see Frankie's beautiful face back, and I'm grateful that he's having a child. That is awesome. Congrats again for that. That's so cool. I can't wait to be in your shoes. But anyway, I'm grateful for my wife, my family, to be alive and sober today. I'm grateful that I made the choice to stay sober today, and I'm grateful for you, Chris, for hosting this, and for all our listeners who listen to the podcast. Hopefully, they gain something from it.
Hope so. Thanks. Let's see, Amy, you are next.
I'm grateful for all of you. Missed you, Frankie, and I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Audrey, John, I really am. Chris, just, I love all y'all. I do. And our audience, I'm grateful for someone listening out there. Maybe we've helped someone. I hope so. I'm grateful to be alive today. I'm grateful for my family, my support system, which includes y'all. I'm overly grateful today. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Amy. Frankie, you are up.
Wow, guys, a lot of love today. Thanks, y'all. There's some Sundays where I'm like, fuck, it's my day off. I got to do the fucking podcast. And every time I get on, I feel so good. And every time I get off, I feel so good. It's just such an incredible hour that I'm so grateful for. I'm so grateful for all of you and your support and your love. And of course, as always, I'm grateful for my family, my incredibly understanding wife and her magical uterus. I'm also grateful for the people at Shake Shack who have delivered my food in perfect time, so that I can have wonderful burgers and chicken and fries after I hang up with all of you. I love all of you.
I love you,
man.
Frankie. You're
Shake
so
Shack.
real.
I'm heading back to New York next week. I'm hitting Shake Shack when I get there.
Oh, so good.
Definitely.
Anyway.
Oh, and John, your last level. Congratulations, man.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
I pray for y'all daily, for real.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Anyway, Chris, sorry.
Done with all
It is all good. I am so grateful for all you guys. There has been a lot of love in the room tonight, in our virtual room, our little virtual studio. Which and I agree with everyone. I mean, I it was a long, hard day, but this is the highlight of my weeks is being here with you guys. It really is, because we can say anything, we can be anything. We're here with each other to just be honest, be our honest selves, bring our honest selves to this. And I'm incredibly grateful to be able to do that, to be able to be honest with all of you and with myself. And I can't imagine anything different anymore. So, well, listen, let's see. I got my little speech here. Thank you again, everybody, for your incredible insights, your honesty, and the love, and being present in our lives, and being present for all these wonderful things that are happening. And thanks to our listeners for joining us. If anybody out there has any thoughts they'd like to share, please, put a note. I think YouTube can certainly put something on there, and possibly some of the other platforms. And we'd love to hear from you. So thanks again, everybody. Have a wonderful couple of weeks. We're doing this bi-weekly now, so see you guys in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank
Leave
you
a
so
review.
much. Yeah, please.
Leave a review on Spotify.
Yes. And leave options for boys' names.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Leave comments.
Have a great evening.